Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the men and women of the 45th Space Wing and Spaceport, Florida Authority, welcome to today's ceremony for the awarding of the Federal Grant Fund to the Spaceport, Florida Authority. We are extremely honored to have two distinguished guests participating in our ceremony today. From District 15, the U.S. Representative, and also the Vice Chairman for the Subcommittee on Space and Aeronautics, the Honorable Dave Weldon, and the Honorable Sheila Widnall, Secretary of the Air Force. At this time, please rise for the arrival of the honor party and the playing of the national anthem. Color Guard, please bring the colors forward. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It's my pleasure now to welcome the Vice Commander of the 45th Space Wing, Colonel Patrick Carr.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to welcome all our guests to Cape Canaveral Air Station, the busiest launch facility in the world. I'd like to pass on a special thanks to Congressman Weldon and Secretary of the Air Force Widnall for taking the time out of what we know are very busy schedules to come down and participate in today's ceremony. I think that's a significant indication of the importance of this ceremony in the process to turn Complex 46 into a commercial launch facility. Also, I think today's event highlights an important partnership that started several years ago between the 45th Space Wing, who's the landlord at the Cape, and the Naval Ordnance Test Unit, who's the operators out at Complex 46, and Spaceport, Florida Authority, who's orchestrating the commercialization of Pad 46. Without the work of many people on this team, we wouldn't be able to have this event today. I'd like to finally say that the 45th Space Wing is committed to supporting commercial space launch operations, not only for the big shooters, but the little shooters. I see the facility that will be built here a significant showcase for the little shooters, and I assure you that the wing is committed to bring all users onto the range and have a super easy process for all our shooters to use. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the commanding officer of the Naval Ordnance Test Unit, Captain Robert Trebona.
Good afternoon, Congressman Widnall, Secretary Widnall, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to represent the Navy and Strategic Systems programs at this major milestone in the commercialization of space launch technology. This facility, Launch Complex 46, was constructed to support the land-based test phase of the Navy's Trident II missile. It was completed in 1984 and was first used in January of 1987 when the Navy launched the first of its sixth-generation ballistic missile. This missile, the Trident II, was designed to be deployed from the Ohio-class Fleet Ballistic Missile Submarine. With a significant improvement in accuracy and larger payload capacity, this missile provides planners with a weapon system capable of covering a wide range of strategic targets well into the 21st century. In all, there were 19 missiles launched from this complex during the land-based test program, which ended on 26 January 1989. Since that launch, this facility has been used primarily to process active inert missiles. That is, these missiles have all of the electronics but none of the explosives. These missiles are used for training our submarine crews as well as testing hardware, software, and support equipment alterations. Should our active test program detect a problem with the deployed system, the Navy may once again need to use this complex to test live missiles prior to introducing the changes to the missiles deployed in our fleet. This complex was built as a state-of-the-art facility. The electronic launch equipment here at 46 is connected to a soft blockhouse by fiber optic cables. It was the first facility at the Cape to utilize this capability. This and other innovations make it a clear choice for dual use. By providing this facility as a unique multi-user facility, the need for each company to invest in separate high-cost, single-user launch pads is eliminated. This also continues the long-standing tradition of the Cape being the worldwide leader in space operations. Today, the Navy stands ready to work side by side with the state of Florida, the 45th and the 45th Space Wing in a government-to-government partnership in making commercial launches and dual use of Complex 46 a reality. Thank you.
Please welcome to the podium the Honorable David Weldon.
First, let me say thank you to our local hosts for this event today, Colonel Pat Carr and Captain Bob Trebona. Thank you for your hospitality. This land around us has a rich history for the state of Florida, for America, and for the world. It has been the site of great achievements, achievements which were accomplished by dedicated people working together as a team for the accomplishment of a great goal. In the 1500s, when the first explorers from the Old World reached the shores of Cape Canaveral, they were part of a team. Indeed, in our lifetime, the name Cape Canaveral has become world famous due to the teamwork of men and women involved in this nation's efforts toward the exploration of space. Around us are many inactive launch pads that serve now as monuments to the great efforts that have gone before us. The men and women of the government industry teams that worked here pioneered space travel, and the country can be proud of their achievements. But there are more than inactive launch pads on this sandy strip of land, and that pioneering spirit is still alive here today. We are taking steps together this afternoon that will lead us toward a new future, the accomplishment of a new venture. American ingenuity will transform these monuments of our past successes into our vision of the future. Because of the cooperation of the people gathered here today, America will continue to lead the way in space, this time with even increased teamwork. The new venture involves an expanded cooperation between the military and civilian sectors that will make access to space both routine and affordable. Obviously, these developments will benefit commerce and stimulate industry, but the military also will be one of the largest beneficiaries of reduced cost and increased access to space. As was shown to the world so clearly during Desert Storm, dominance on the ground depends on leadership in space, and no one understands that better than the men and women of our U.S. Armed Forces. Through the cooperation of our federal government, including the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Navy, as well as state agencies like Spaceport, Florida, and private industry, we are building a spaceport. The purpose of the spaceport is to help America's space industry once more be competitive internationally. Spaceports will become part of America's transformation. Like airports and seaports are today, the spaceport will function as a port. Space is no longer a research and development exercise only. It is an economic engine which adds momentum to our nation's vitality. As the representative of Florida's 15th District, I am encouraged by the teamwork I see here today, and I am excited about the frequent, successful, and cost-effective launches destined to take place here. And I am dedicated to the success of this new venture and the many more that will follow on this narrow strip of sand. One of the most visionary people in these developments is the Secretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Dr. Sheila Widnall. I would like to extend a special thanks to her for accepting my invitation to join us here today in spite of her demanding schedule. As the highest-ranking member of the United States Air Force, it is truly an honor to welcome her here. Dr. Widnall has demonstrated a deep commitment to the cause of commercial space development, and through the Air Force grant program has been instrumental in fostering the development of this uniquely American enterprise phenomenon called Spaceport. May God continue to bless this venture as He has blessed us today with this beautiful weather. Thank you.
And now, the Honorable Sheila Widnall, Secretary of the Air Force.
I'd like to thank Congressman Weldon for inviting me to this ceremony. I wouldn't have missed it for anything, because today we're lighting a spark for the commercial space industry. You can already feel the excitement. You know something very important is beginning here at Launch Complex 46. And we desperately need today's spark to light a roaring fire under the commercial space industry. Our need for this spark is simple. In 1980, America had 100% of the launch vehicle market. Today we have 30%. I'm going to do my best to make sure that 1995 is the year we reverse this trend. Reversing this trend will require a national effort and tremendous cooperation between Air Force and commercial space launch industry. Without a cooperative national effort, we won't turn things around. The good news is that we already have an incredible amount of cooperation between Air Force and commercial space efforts at this launch site. And the lion's share of Air Force interaction with commercial space occurs right here at Cape Canaveral. In fact, last year was a historic transition year for space launch in Florida. In the past, military space launches significantly outnumbered commercial launches. However, in 1994, for the first time ever, the split was 50-50. 1995 will be the first year commercial launches actually outnumber military launches. For example, of 11 Atlas launches, 9 will be commercial. Of 19 East Coast missions planned, 12 are commercial. And commercial launches at the Cape will continue to outpace military launches for the rest of the decade. With all this commercial activity predicted for the future, I want to be sure that everyone knows that the Air Force is a very strong advocate of commercial space. We are working hand in hand with both industry and state governments to make access to space easier. In the spirit of cooperation and commercialization, we've made our Atlas and Delta launch pads available to commercial users and integrated the scheduling process. As many of you know, last month we lit a similar spark on the West Coast when we signed a 25-year lease with the Western Commercial Space Center. They plan to use their grant to build facilities to launch a variety of small commercial launch vehicles from the West Coast. And today, it will be my pleasure to present a $2.7 million grant check to the Spaceport Florida Authority. Added to last year's grant, the Air Force has provided the Spaceport Florida Authority with almost $5 million. and we hope that this year's grant will fan the flames towards explosive growth for America's commercial space industry. I understand that you have made a good start converting Launch Complex 46 into a dual-use launch facility. I can't think of a more beneficial use for our national space infrastructure. Launching small launch vehicles while retaining the capability to support Navy Trident activities is the epitome of dual use. I wish you luck in your efforts to launch from this complex by next year. Your hard work will add to our national capability, provide a big boost to commercial space, and increase our international competitiveness. This is an exciting time. I hope that Congressman Weldon can transmit the message to his colleagues in Washington that we need continued strong support for all of America's space efforts. And now I'd like to present the dual-use grant to the man who is helping to light the spark at Spaceport, Florida, Mr. Ed O'Connor. Hopefully, the $2.74 million of fuel will keep the fire lit for a long time. Ed, will you please join me?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Executive Director for Spaceport Florida Authority, Mr. Edward O'Connor.
It's a pleasure to be with you here today. What we're doing today is sharing to a wider community the vision of the state of Florida to assist the commercial space industry to flourish and grow, as well as to work with our honored guest, Representative Weldon, Secretary Widnall, Colonel Carr, Captain Trabona, in the dual vision of the state and federal government to work in partnership to develop and support the crown jewels of American technology, our space program. Nowhere else in the world has anyone recognized any other source of space expertise except the United States. Our industrial team, our government team, working together has brought about wonderful accomplishments. But those accomplishments must be now turned to new uses, and those new uses evolve around the commercial theme. New generations of small satellites are in our future. To support these systems, we need new generations of small, effective launch vehicles. Working with industry, working with the federal government, the state of Florida looks forward to a very, very positive, explosive growth in commercial space by working in a partnership. Each member of the partnership bringing their unique capabilities, their unique thoughts, their unique productivity to bear on a common problem. The Secretary touched on that problem. We had 100% of commercial launches in the United States, and now we're down in the area of 30%. It would be unrealistic to expect that we go back to 100%. But I would challenge us all to accept no less than 50% of the world market share on commercial launches. The effectiveness of this effort is going to involve both the state and federal government as well as industry working closely and tightly together. The citizens of Florida and the governor of Florida expects us to go forward with this effort to help develop the economy, not only of Florida, but also of the nation. I owe profound thanks to the Air Force for the grant that has been given to us today. I also would like to express the thanks of Governor Childs for the support that this shows to the state effort to work in partnership to develop the jobs, develop the capabilities, and work together in this grand new venture. Thank you very much.
At this time, the honor party will depart the stage for photos by a special sign and to view the model depicting this project.